increase awareness of workplace stressors, including COVID during the pandemic, and really tips on improvement from both a personal and organizational standpoint. So today's presentation will only last about 45 minutes. And then I'm going to open it up for questions for as long as is needed. So feel free to stay on, ask some questions in the chat. Tunja's going to monitor those questions. If I can get to them, great. If not, again, there's going to be plenty of time at the end for questions as well. So a little bit about me. I'm a dietitian with experience in counseling, community wellness, preventative nutrition education, wellness program management. And while I've never owned my own small business, I am passionate about providing the best opportunities and environments to support employee health and safety. So I'm going to turn off my camera now so that way we can go ahead and get started. And you can follow along on the slides here. So a little bit of a background about who we are is the vast majority of businesses in the US are small, with today about 47% of small businesses making up the workforce, and the government realized that there should be some support system in place. So the Small Business Administration was formed. Each state has an affiliate SBA and additional centers dependent upon size and population, with about 1,000 SBDCs in the US. So here in Pennsylvania, there's 16, and most are affiliated with a university. So we're funded through the federal government, through the state, and partial funding from our host university of Duquesne. We're located in the School of Business and report through the Center for Entrepreneurship. Our mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the knowledge they need to start, grow, and prosper. And we're here to help our clients make informed decisions about their business so they can be efficient, successful, and grow. A little bit more about our services is that we provide general business consulting. So that would be starting a business, funding, buying and selling, and market research. We also offer technology commercialization and life science consulting, healthy workplace, which is our topic for today. And then several training and workshops are available, which you can find posted to our calendar on our website. So examples would include the first steps, business essentials, so everything you need to know about starting your own business, QuickBooks, social media and marketing, financing, sales. But we're always incorporating feedback into additional education sessions based on feedback and input. So keep checking back for new topics. I know coming up, we also have a cybersecurity one as well. A little bit more about healthy workplace services and exactly what they can do for you would be, of course, what I just mentioned, the educational webinars. So again, today's topic is all about the stress management and emotional health. A couple more ideas coming up would be boosting motivation, productivity, and employee morale, workplace safety for small businesses, and OSHA regulations. But again, some ideas, we really incorporate client feedback, so I encourage you to reach out and let me know. We also offer one-on-one, no-cost consulting in the areas of promotion guidelines and policies, assessment planning, implementation, and evaluation for both wellness and safety, restart readiness for COVID, so following CDC guidelines, we can determine best practices when reintegrating employees into the workplace, OSHA compliance assistance, so making sure all regulatory standards are met, workers' compensation, safety committees, those kind of things. And third, there's so many tools and resources from CDC, OSHA, and the PA Department of Labor and Industry out there that we're here to help make these tools and processes easy, personal, and practical. All right, so listed on the slide are the objectives, and we're going to be covering anything from identifying causes and signs of employee stress, to understanding how it can affect your organization and costs associated, to finding solutions to organizational barriers. So we'll also touch upon the impact of COVID related to stress and emotional health as well. All right, so let's get started. So how you feel can affect the ability to carry out everyday activities, your relationships, and your overall emotional health. How you react to your experiences and feelings can change over time. Emotional wellness is the ability to successfully handle life stresses and adapt to change in difficult times. So a few things to consider related to emotional wellness would be a positive versus negative mindset, how you handle stress, sleep quality, mindfulness, support systems. And then stress management is a wide spectrum of techniques aimed at controlling a person's level of stress, especially chronic, usually for the purpose and for the motive of improving everyday functioning. A few examples of stress management approaches would be learning skills like problem solving, prioritizing tasks and time management, enhancing your ability to cope with adversity, practicing relaxation techniques, and improving personal relationships. So the nature of work is changing at whirlwind speed. So perhaps now more than ever, job stress poses a threat to the health of workers and in turn, the organization's health. Job stress can be defined as the harmful physical and emotional responses that occur when the requirements of the job do not match the capabilities, resources, or needs of the worker. So organizations depend on their employees to deliver their mission, vision, products, and service to drive overall success. Creating a healthy and safe workplace protects both the physical and emotional health of employees, which is essential to achieving business objectives. Job stress may result from the interaction of the worker and the conditions of work. So it's recognized that an individual's experience of stress is a unique one, influenced by many factors, which could be work-related, it could be personal, external, or maybe a combination of these. So it's unrealistic to expect that we'll manage to eliminate stress entirely. However, there's much that you can do as an employer to reduce its likelihood and support those employees experiencing it. A few conditions of the job that may lead to employee stress are listed here. So these would include the design of tasks. This could be heavy workloads, infrequent rest breaks, long work hours and shift work, a hectic routine, and tasks that have little inherent meaning. They don't really utilize worker skill and they provide a little sense of control. Management style, so a lack of participation by workers in decision making, poor communication in the organization, or lack of family-friendly policies. Interpersonal relationships would be poor social, environmental, and lack of support for help from coworkers or supervisors. Work roles would be conflicting or uncertain job expectations, too much responsibility, or too many hats to wear. Career concerns like job insecurity and lack of opportunity for growth, advancement or promotion, rapid changes for which workers are unprepared, and then we'll be talking specifically about COVID concerns a little bit later. Environmental conditions, so unpleasant or dangerous physical conditions such as noise or ergonomic problems, and now possibly working in a remote environment as well. The first signs that indicate employees may be suffering from pressure or stress may be changes in behavior or appearance. So this slide is a list that includes several warning signs broken down into 6 categories. The first one would be work performance, so a declining, inconsistent, carelessness, loss of motivation, or lowered productivity. Withdrawal with increased absenteeism, isolation, arriving late or leaving early. Regression would be irritability, moodiness, personality clashes, or overreaction to problems. Aggressive behavior like criticism of others, shouting, arguments, poor employee relations, or bullying. Physical would be tiredness, tension headaches, rapid weight loss or gain, or an upset stomach. And then under other, you could have difficulty relaxing, lack of interest in appearance or hygiene, accidents at work or home, or out of character behavior. So while everybody handles situations differently, and sometimes there are no clues, especially if employees are fearful of losing their job. Lack of obvious signs is not a good reason to dismiss concerns about job stress or minimize the importance of a prevention program. Studies show that stressful working conditions are associated with increased absenteeism, tardiness, and turnover, but the effects can go far beyond that. Some effects include the concentration disruption, reduced productivity, diminished trust, resentment, depression, and burnout, but these are all major concerns. However, stress also has a negative impact on health. So many studies suggest that demanding jobs that allow employees little control over the work process increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Other research has shown that job stress increases the risk for development of back and upper extremity disorders. And although more studies are needed, there is a growing concern that stressful working conditions interfere with safe work practices and set the stage for injuries at work. More studies would also be needed, but suggest a relationship between stressful working conditions and suicide, cancer, ulcers, and impaired immune function. So not only does stress impact your personal health, but it can also have a negative impact on the organization's health. Work-related stress has been found to be one of the primary causes of occupational ill health. as physical, behavior, and psychological consequences, accounting for around half of all days lost. So costs to the individual due to stress are numerous, but the cost to the organization from a work-related stress alone include adverse impacts on the employee commitment, performance and productivity, human error-related accidents, turnover, attendance, recruitment and retention, and then it could have a negative impact on your organizational image or reputation. For a little bit more about a cost breakdown, a report conducted by Avion Health titled Organizational Costs of Unhealthy Habits found the following costs associated with increased levels of stress. So up to $413 spent on healthcare costs and up to $301 in lost productivity. The calculation you can see, excuse me, is at the bottom of this slide here. And then references are provided at the end of this presentation. But as you can see, the potential cost to the organization per 100 employees is $28,560 annually. The World Health Organization says that for every $1 put into treatment for common mental disorders, there's a return of $4 in improvement on health and productivity. In a recent survey of employers who were already providing wellness programs, 91% of those surveyed stated that the ROI went above cost savings to include the value of investment, or VOI metrics. So this would include employee engagement, improved employee satisfaction, and overall business performance and profitability. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, workers who must take time off work because of stress, anxiety, or related disorder will be off the job for about 20 days. The first step to improving workplace health is identifying that there are improvements to be made and getting honest feedback from employees. So earlier in the presentation, I outlined a few job conditions that may lead to employee stress, like relationships, environmental conditions, roles, and a few others, but now we're going to look at what can be done at the organizational level. So recent studies of healthy organizations suggest that policies benefiting worker health also benefit the bottom line. A healthy organization is defined as one that has low rates of illness, injury, and disability in its workforce, and is also competitive in the marketplace. The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health identified organizational characteristics associated with both health, low stress work, and high levels of productivity. And then the examples of these characteristics are listed here, which would be recognition of employees for good work performance, opportunities for career development, an organizational culture that values the individual worker, and management actions that are consistent with organizational values. So there are several different approaches for dealing with stress at work, with two major examples being stress management techniques and organizational change. So stress management are programs to teach workers about the nature of sources of stress, the effects on health, and personal skills to reduce stress. A very common example that most companies have are EAPs, or employee assistance programs. Other examples include implementing a wellness program or committee, offering free engagement apps like Headspace, and learning techniques for personal stress relief. And we'll talk about a few of those later. Organizational change identifies the stressful aspects of work and includes the design of strategies to reduce or eliminate the identified stressors. So examples of some organizational change would be ensuring that the workload is in line with workers' capability and resources, clearly define roles and responsibilities, improve communication and opportunities to participate in decisions, and establishing work schedules and policies that are compatible with work-life balance. Generally, actions to reduce job stress should be given top priority to organizational change to improve the working conditions, but even the best efforts are unlikely to eliminate stress completely. So then a combination of organizational change and stress management is often the most useful approach for prevention. So this chart is from the CDC Work at Health program. I know it's not perfectly crystal clear, but it helps employers with the steps to think about and implement a worksite wellness program. So one component of the curriculum focuses on stress management in the workplace. And then as you can see here, there's several categories in which businesses can focus efforts related to prevention methods. So one is going to be policies, implementing or adjusting policies to include statements about harassment, discrimination, bullying, alcohol and drug use, safety, volunteerism. But another example not listed on here would be flex time policies, again, for the work-life balance. Benefits or incentives, this would be PTO, coverage of medications, smoking cessation, reimbursement. Environmental would be relaxation rooms, walking paths, proper lighting, on-site fitness centers, tobacco-free campus. But understandably, this has been slightly altered, especially if your business isn't currently working on site. And then offering educational classes. These could be topics of stress management, tobacco, financial health, the EAPs, which are the employee assistance programs, mental health, and physical activity. So in summary, supporting employee emotional health should be just as important as ensuring the physical well-being. To truly foster a culture that cares about emotional health, leadership should be committed to understanding and addressing the individual needs of employees, as well as the needs of the organization as a whole. So organizations just beginning to explore investments in wellness programs often struggle with where to start or hit roadblocks along the way. A few common examples of these barriers would be cost, time, resources, commitment. But on this slide, we'll take a look at a few of the ideas to overcome these barriers. So one is prioritizing emotional health at both the leadership and the employee level. So this may help with securing a budget for programming or to help shape organizational culture to increase awareness, as well as recognizing champions and increase communication at the employee level. Recognizing that poor emotional health is a top cost driver, so tracking the cost of disability claims and data collection can help shed light on cost drivers related to benefits. Linking workplace health with organizational objectives. So being able to connect employee health to organizational health is a great way to show commitment and value you place on the employees. Investing in employee well-being, not just intervening at a time of crisis. So greater returns are shown when a company actively supports a well-balanced approach to employee health. Focusing investments on high impact areas when resources are limited. So a large budget isn't always needed to achieve positive results. Creating awareness and encouraging a culture that encourages employees to seek help when needed can play a huge part. Tracking outcomes to future-proof the program. So by tracking goals, objectives, and targets, this can help strengthen buy-in because it demonstrates the value of making investments over time. Metrics can also inform the business case for continued or increased investment. And then evolving programs over time based on data analysis. So evidence-based decision-making driven by data is important for continuously improving program effectiveness and efficiency. This helps prioritize specific components and identify new trends. All right, so how can you support your employee health? Well, when creating a plan to support employee emotional health, leaders can drive their efforts into 3 categories. This would be the prevention, planning, support and understanding, and measuring and growing. And then we're going to take a look at each one of these. So with prevention and planning, these are just 7 steps that employers can take. Of course, there can be more or less. And I mentioned a few of these earlier, but these steps are addressing modifiable risk factors. This would be such as safety, health hazards, workload, and unhealthy management practices. Developing policies concerning harassment prevention, including discrimination, bullying, sexual harassment. Promoting emotional health literacy by providing educational materials and resources from credible organizations. Reducing the stigma surrounding emotional health by equating its importance to that of physical health. Rewarding metrics like creativity and teamwork. Offering a safe, quiet space for breaks and relaxation, which helps to refocus. And then addressing individual and organizational concerns when building a company culture. There's also several steps that can help cultivate support and understanding. These steps are fostering an inclusively supportive environment from all coworkers and supervisors, providing a support system for employees showing signs of emotional health issues, establishing a company culture that acknowledges the importance of rest, breaks, and healthy relationships to succeed, recognizing that every employee is different and making an effort to understand employees' preferences, communicating the organization's commitment to a culture that supports emotional health, giving employees the option to seek counseling, whether it's online or in person, and then encouraging leaders to share their experiences as well. And then the third component is measuring and growing. To measure the effectiveness of a health program, it's vital to track the changes in metrics such as employee engagement, economic costs, turnover rates, productivity, healthcare and disability cost, company reputation, and then employee attitudes and well-being. It's also vital to tie improvements in individual, company, and community health to organizational objectives. Leaders should also consider attending training programs to learn more about building and maintaining a culture that supports this. So whether you're going into work or working from home, COVID has probably changed the way that you work. Fear and anxiety about this disease and other emotions can be overwhelming, and workplace stress can lead to burnout. So listed here are a few work-related facts that can add to your stress levels specifically during COVID. So this would be concern about the risk of being exposed to the virus at work, taking care of personal and family needs while working, managing a different workload, a lack of access to the tools and equipment needed to perform your job, feelings that you're not contributing enough, uncertainty about the future of your workplace or your employment, learning new communication tools and dealing with technical difficulties, and adapting to a different workspace or work schedule. So during this pandemic, it's critical that you recognize what stress looks like and then take steps to build your resilience and manage your job stress. So on this slide, we'll take a look at some of the tips to then build resilience and manage the job stress. With the first one being communication. So really communicate with your coworkers, supervisors, and employees about job stress. So you want to identify things that may cause this and work together to identify solutions. Talk openly with employers and employees about how the pandemic is affecting work. So expectations should be communicated clearly to everyone. And then really ask about employee assistance program to see if there's any available to you. Identify those things which you do not have control over and do the best that you can with the resources available to you. Increase your sense of control by developing a consistent daily routine when possible. Ideally, one that was similar to your schedule before. So this would be maybe keeping a regular sleep schedule, taking breaks to work or from work to either stretch or exercise or check in with people. Spending time outdoors. If you work from home, set a regular time to end the day. And practice mindful techniques as well. Know the facts about COVID, so be informed about how to protect yourself and others. Understanding the risk and sharing accurate information with people you care about can reduce stress and help you make a connection with others. Take breaks from watching, reading, or listening to news stories, including social media. Hearing about the pandemic repeatedly can be upsetting and mentally exhausting. Connect with others. So talk with people you trust about your concerns, how you're feeling, or how COVID is affecting you. And then if you feel you may be misusing alcohol or other drugs as a means of coping, reach out for help. Remind yourself that each of us has a crucial role in fighting this pandemic, and remind yourself that everyone is in an unusual situation with limited resources. COVID has accelerated remote work, resulting in limited access to traditional on-site wellness programs. Implementing pandemic-proof wellness initiatives have never been more valuable in decreasing healthcare costs, increasing productivity, and improving employee morale. So many people have had to transition to remote work amid the pandemic, but not surprisingly, this has some employers concerned about maintaining employee productivity. But what they really should be concerned about is a longer-term risk, which is employee burnout. So burnout is due to compounding issues leading to exhaustion. The resulting fatigue may be due to overwork, unrealistic project schedules, and conflicts between job and personal agendas. Lots of research suggests that drawing lines between our professional and personal lives is critical, but especially for our emotional health. And it's difficult, even in the best of circumstances. So some examples of working from home stressors would be your disrupted change in schedule. So you no longer have to account for a commute, and with your office at home, it's very easy to get distracted. Homeschooling, so maybe you have to handle your work on top of your children's schoolwork, Zoom or technology. So if you're new to the virtual world, there may be a learning curve. Lack of support or communication, coworkers, supervisors, and the organization as a whole not being open about new policies, practices, or expectations can be frustrating. And then certainty. So with job, career paths, timeframes, and normalcy of work-life balance. So burnout can leave people feeling exhausted and empty and unable to cope. So although work from home may have offered you a break from the commute, office structure and your regular daily routine for the past few months, the mental break from work as well as technology is equally important. So burnout symptoms may include emotional exhaustion. So burnout causes people to feel drained and tired. They often lack the energy to get their work done. Procrastination. So maybe you got yourself on a work kick once you discovered the benefits of working from home. You found yourself in a role, but you never really found a steady, comfortable pace. So eventually you felt fried and you began procrastinating. Increased anxiety. So worry is a key symptom of anxiety, which is often seen with burnout. If you're worrying about many things and your mind feels like you're stuck in a loop, then it's time to slow down and view this as a warning sign to readjust. Cutting back involvement with others. So there's a risk that increased time at home and lack of a routine makes it more difficult to engage with others and not wanting to socialize. And then feeling a reduced personal accomplishment. So decline in the feeling of competence and successful achievement in work. So here are some steps that you can help to avoid burnout while working from home or even off-site. So creating a schedule that works for you. It can be tempting to roll out of bed 2 minutes before you're supposed to log in, but pretending you're getting ready for a day at the office can help you get into a productive mindset. Making a plan for what you'll complete and when during the workday, and if there are distractions that can't be avoided, set expectations with your employer as when you'll be on the clock. Create ground rules and stay organized. So as you're wrapping up, make a to-do list for the following day. Distractions like children, spouses, and household chores may be unavoidable. So creating ground rules may help with keeping on track. Create a workspace. So it's a good idea to choose a dedicated workspace with minimal distractions, whether it's a home office or a nook in the kitchen. Try and find someplace separate from the places that you associate with leisure time. Leave your workspace. So a good work-life balance is crucial for avoiding burnout, and there's evidence that the always-on mentality does more harm than good. Ask for help. So realize that you may need extra help around the house, especially if you're also trying to manage childcare. This is an unprecedented time, and parents need to cut themselves some slack. Communicate with colleagues. This would be to engage and to keep open communication. So people still need to reach out and stay connected. Take advantage of professional development opportunities. So when you're not in the office, you might miss out on training courses that were taught in person. However, now with so many opportunities available online, see if you can sign up for a professional educational webinars. And then end your day. Make sure you pick a consistent end time and avoid working around the clock. Resist the urge to check your email after hours. So we looked at a lot of information about organizational improvement as well as working remotely. This slide will now take a look at a few strategies for improving your emotional health on a personal level. So stress management techniques usually help best in the short term. So it's important to use strategies together or continued practice to help in the long term. So sleep. A good night's sleep allows you to tackle the day's stress easier. Following a regular sleep routine calms and restores the body, improves concentration, regulates mood, and sharpens judgment and decision making. Nutrition, our moods and our foods are closely linked. Building healthy food habits into your routine can improve your overall diet and may lead to reduced stress levels. Exercise, just 30 minutes a day of walking or other activities can help boost your mood and improve your health. Breathing, so techniques can calm your body and your brain in just a few minutes. Breathing slowly and deeply has been proven to reduce blood pressure, tension, and relieve stress. Leave work at work. So if job stressors account for most of your stress, leave work at the door and tackle it tomorrow. Learn to say no or delegate tasks. So know your limits and stick to them. So whether you're in personal or professional life, taking on more than you can handle is a recipe for stress. Prioritizing your time. Analyze your schedule, responsibilities, and daily tasks. If you got too much on your plate, drop the tasks that aren't truly necessary to the bottom of the list or eliminate them entirely. Unplug. So step away from screens, TVs, smartphones, computers, tablets, anything. Unplugging from technology may be one of the healthiest things that you can do for yourself. So reconnect with real people and focus on the moment. And then recognize what is going well. When stress is getting you down, take a moment to reflect on all the things you appreciate in your life, including your own positive qualities. This simple strategy can help you keep things in perspective. All right, so here are some of the resources that was used throughout the presentation. There's a lot more helpful resources out there. If you can't find something that you're looking for, please reach out and I can help. Not only can I send you more information specific to your business and needs, but I can make the process simple, easy to understand, and direct you to the answers without you having to get bogged down in the navigation process. So just to reiterate, how can the SBDC help your business? So I've listed the consulting services we can provide through the Healthy Workplace initiatives. However, there's something specific that you're looking for, please reach out to me directly and we can talk about best solutions. The services that I just wanted to highlight that were based off today's webinar topic would be the promotion guidelines, policies, and plans. So this would be both for safety and wellness, but I do have sample templates for stress management and flex time policies if you're interested. Assessment, planning, implementation, and valuation. So that, again, this would be both for the wellness programs and safety and health systems for integrating that into your workplace. Restart readiness for COVID-19. So continued compliance with employees and employers when re-entering the workforce. So if you're not going to be remotely anymore. No cost resources. So providing toolkits, checklists, and examples to help with anything that we discussed today. And then educational webinars. So as our Healthy Workplace program grows, we will be creating additional educational sessions based on feedback and surveys to provide more information to a greater audience base and really help answer the questions that you may have. Again, if there's something specific that you're looking for, please reach out to me directly.
Marla, can we also email those resources to the participants? The previous slide.
Yeah, so all this slide deck is going to be emailed out to everybody. We have your contact information. So again, anybody who signed up for this webinar will get these slides. If there's a couple resources that that you were interested in that weren't on my, here, let me go back to this slide. If you're looking for any tools or resources that aren't on here for a hyperlink, shoot me an email as well, and I can send you that as well. But yep, everybody will be getting them. So hopefully this presentation has been helpful today. As I mentioned earlier, our ultimate goal is for our clients at Duquesne SBDC is to help them make informed decisions. So if you feel that you want to take the next steps in Healthy Workplace, you can give us a call at the number listed or send us an email. For new clients, the more information you provide about your business, the easier it will be for us to help efficiently and as timely as possible. But if you're an existing client with the SBDC, you can just reach out to me directly at the information here, my phone number and my email address, so I can help you with the next specific step. You can also keep checking our workshop calendar and the blog on our website, which has a lot more helpful information. And you can see on the slide here, this is the direct website link to the Healthy Workplace webpage embedded in our overall website. So you can also start following us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn for tips, news, special discounts, and more. And then I actually finished up a little bit earlier than I thought, so we have plenty of times for questions. I can also check the chat box if Tunja was monitoring that, but I'll just say thank you so much, take time for questions, and then I'll just go back to this, this page so you can continue to see the contact information. So let's see, Tunja, was there anything in the chat box?
Not right now, Marla, and please fill out the evaluation forms. I shared them in chat. So please make sure you fill out those evaluation forms before you leave. We really appreciate your feedback. This is a new program for us, so we're trying to get a lot of feedback.
Yeah. So again, I hope you enjoyed this topic today. Again, with the pandemic reaching a little bit longer than who would have thought, you know, maybe people are still remote. Stress is kind of a big deal right now. Hopefully with all the vaccines and everything coming out too, we can, you know, talk about those next steps as well. But again, thank you so much for joining the presentation today. Again, please fill out the evaluation form. That not only helps me as the presenter with all the information shared, but it will also help with future webinar sessions and really get the most accurate information to you out there. Thank you so much. I saw some of the polls come through for responding to those polls. It again helps us create content that is most relevant to you. So any questions right now, you can put them in the chat box if you have any specific questions. If you don't feel like sharing right now, please go ahead and shoot me an email specifically if you don't want to share right now. Okay, so I see send a link to the Healthy Workplace webpage. Absolutely, so I know you probably can't press the hyperlink in this on my screen right now. So I'll certainly send that out with the slides. And again, everybody will be getting this who registered for the webinar. Have you heard if it will be possible to have people come to our workplaces to provide vaccines? So again, great question that was just placed in the chat. Right now, the Pennsylvania has an outline for what the vaccine distribution is going to be looking like. I haven't checked it probably in the last week, but right now I do know that everybody is probably familiar with the healthcare workers first. So kind of what that looks like after next steps. I can also send the direct link to that website so we stay up to date on what the kind of Pennsylvania restrictions are looking like. But as far as people coming into your workplaces to provide them, that would probably be up to your specific company, leaders, HR, that kind of thing. But it is possible, as I have seen other work sites doing that. So that's kind of all that's in the chat right now. Again, if you would like to ask another question, please feel free to do so. If you don't want to put it in the chat box, you can reach out to me directly by email. Sorry, just reading something else in here as well. So a good tip for leaving work at work, especially in knowledge-based industries, where you have to plan about how to approach various work tasks. Give enough time apart. So great question. Again, this was kind of more of a little bit of discussion and of one of my points earlier. So leaving work at work, if you are working remotely, again, that kind of ties back into making sure that you have a space set apart from everywhere else, again, from leisure time. So making sure that you can turn on and off. Again, that always on mentality does more harm than good. So when you are leaving work at work, again, if you have access to anything with a screen on it as well, making sure that you don't try and repeatedly keep checking back for it. Leave it for tomorrow. If you can stay organized and have a to-do list, hopefully that leaving work at work isn't as detrimental as maybe you think, increasing your anxiety and things like that. Especially for, if your employer wants you to look busy, but it might not give you enough time for the thought process of some of the projects you're working on. That's really where the open communication comes in. You need to set expectations with your employer to make sure that they're understanding kind of how this is affecting every individual employee and not kind of generalizing as a whole. So again, I just really continually encourage open communication because everybody is kind of in a different place and we're working through this during these unprecedented times. So thank you so much for putting that one in there as well.
Marla, also, do you want to talk about our Healthy Workplace newsletter?
Yes, absolutely. So if you do go to our website, it doesn't have to specifically be the Healthy Workplace webpage, but if you go to the Duquesne SBDC website, then I believe a pop-up still comes, Tunja. I was looking at that the other day, and all you have to do is subscribe, and you'll get a couple emails from us. We don't overload you, I promise, but every month we send out a Healthy Workplace newsletter, and that just comes through the email. It's a constant contact. It's pretty short, so what it basically gives you is a tip, whether that's about employee wellness or safety. And then it provides the next either upcoming webinar or a recording. So we did record this webinar, so we'll have that on our newsletter. It gives you kind of the most updated information. Right now, it's kind of been focusing on COVID and what those regulations look like. So again, vaccines coming out is kind of top priority of what we focused on in January. We do have a cost analysis coming out in the February newsletter about the example that I showed you, specifically related to the cost associated with stress. There's several other health conditions and risk factors that we have a breakdown that you can kind of use a calculator tool as well. We'll probably get that in there. And then it's a direct link that you can also request consulting services or find out more information. So please sign up for some of our emails coming out. Again, that's only once a month, and we really don't bombard you with junk email either. So I appreciate as many people signing up for that as possible. And of course, any feedback which is needed, we appreciate that as well.
Yeah, if you want to join the list, just email us. You can email Marla, or you can email SBDC@duq.edu also. We will add you to our Healthy Workplace newsletter, which we talk about some news about vaccines or other CDC guidelines or anything related to Pennsylvania. So just shoot us an email.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Yeah. All right. Again, if there's no questions, I know we finished up just a little bit earlier today. Oh wait, we do have one more question come through. Do you know of any emerging resources out there from qualified authors that address the emotional welfare in business owners like me in the hospitality and travel? Great question. Again, emerging resources. So again, some of the ones I listed on here were just about stress in the workplace in general. So kind of getting that emerging resources specifically for hospitality and travel during these times, I can certainly look into that for you. So why don't I email you some of that specifically once I do a little bit of background research. But what I want to mention as well, specifically for the hospitality and travel, is that the SBDCs that are here located in Pennsylvania, we're just part of the statewide network. I believe, Tunja, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Temple University is the center of excellence in hospitality. And so let me reach out to some of my contacts out there and see if I can get anything directly specific to that. So again, great question. That is a very specific source that we need to get resources available in as well. So thank you for that. I'm going to write that down. Okay. Cool. All right, thank you so much for that. Anybody else? All right. Well, then I'm just going to say thank you so much for your participation today. Please, please, please fill out that evaluation form and always keep checking back to our calendar for the most updated webinars. Again, we have 2 coming up next week. Those aren't specific to Healthy Workplace, but still very good for businesses. I'll have my next kind of topic on productivity, boosting morale, and kind of the employee wellness thing again. As well as safety and OSHA regulations for small businesses. So those are kind of coming up in our series. Keep checking back, but again, if you sign up for either a newsletter or email us for a subscription or anything like that, again, everything's free. You'll have that directly into your inbox as well. So, Tunja, any last words?
Oh, Marla, thank you, and thank you everyone for joining us. Just let us know if you have any questions, and again, we will email the recording and the slides.
All right.
Thanks. Take care, everyone.